Welcome to the Crossing the Pond podcast, hosted by me, Gary Adair, where each week our guests will recount their own experiences of resilience and transformation. Whether it's moving to a new country, tackling health challenges, changing careers, or breaking through personal barriers.
Yeah, welcome to a bonus episode this week, Crossing the Pond podcast, usually hosted by me, Gary Adair, but again, another one. Due to the popularity, Bob, apparently, of the Switch episode.
Yeah.
Figured we'd do a bonus about why we wanted to do the podcast in the first place. So you asked the questions.
I will ask the questions. Flown in from LA, especially for this.
Flown in, especially for this, yeah. That's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice, yeah. I just want to celebrate the lager as well. Only 99 calories.
That's why I'm drinking it.
Yeah, good.
And that's why I'm also wearing black as well. So it's
got Blardigan on to cover up. All right, we're ready to talk about the podcast.
Go on then.
When did it first start?
Do you know what it was? It was the first week of January last year, 2024. Yeah, it was me and you again, wasn't it? As with every madcap scheme, you get dragged in.
Somehow.
Or I get dragged into yours and you'll get dragged into mine. So
That's life, isn't it, mate? That's life. So what was your vision for starting the pod?
I just thought, I've always had it in my head to do it. And I thought, because it's interesting, isn't it? You've been here for so long. And I'm starting, I don't know if it's because I'm getting a little bit older, even though I'm only 44, but 40s. But I just thought at some point you're going to start forgetting stuff. And it sounds dead ghoulish, doesn't it? But people might not be around. You're going to have forgotten stuff. People have moved on and moved to different places. So I think it's important to try and get as many people as I can who I've either met or a couple of degrees of separation with, who've had the same experience as me, come to America, try to figure it out, left behind family, left behind friends, left behind what you would have considered to be home, and then started again. So I just thought it'd be interesting to try and reach out. So at first it was try and get as many of your friends as you can, and a couple of people stepped up and helped me out, say for the first 10 or 15. And then after that it was, this might have wet legs.
Wet legs?
Wet legs. Touch of the strokes there. Yeah, so then it just started to become a thing where I was reaching out to all sorts of people, and again, it just evolved, hasn't it? It's sort of, again, it's got wet legs.
It's got wet legs?
Legs.
Yeah. How's legs doing? But what was your original inspiration? Were there 2 or 3 different podcasts you were listening to that gave you the confidence to jump
I used to listen to the Gervais one years ago. Remember when Gervais did the one with Carl Pilkington and Stephen Merchant?
I do, yeah.
And there was tons of episodes. I used to listen to it in the car all the time because you'd be driving around to coaching, and I loved it. I just liked the backwards and forwards. And then during COVID, obviously very football centric, but Under the Cosh, Open Goal, which is a Scottish podcast, which I think is hilarious. I've had one on this afternoon. It's brilliant. And then there was another one called the THL, which was Tommy Tian and Hector Huckagan and Larita Blewett, which is an Irish one. Every single one of them different in their own ways, but at the same time, all had 2 or 3 people on having a chat about experiences that they've had and how it relates to daily life. And I just think it just makes me laugh. And whenever you'd have it on in the car, it just felt like company. So if you're on the car on your own and you're driving, it's just a bit of company.
You spend a lot of time in your car, don't you? Driving around. We're all the same, right? We spend lots of time driving around. So it is nice to have those friends, as it were.
Yeah, who friend? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, friends.
It's true though, isn't it? Like you do. Not that you get a relationship with them, but you understand them a little bit more because you're constantly in the car all the time.
Do you find yourself talking to them when you're not in the car, or when you just like?
No. I haven't not got the voices yet.
In preparation for this, because there's preparation that goes into these. So I was thinking back to the first couple.
Yeah.
Or the first 10, 15. Very similar, UK and Ireland, talking about crossing the ponds. A lot of people had similar backgrounds to us, came out with coaching and that. But then I would listen to your most recent ones, really good. And I feel like there has been a shift, an evolution or evolution in it. And I just wanted to know, how has it changed from those early days to what I listened to last week?
You listen to feedback, don't you? You listen to what people say, and that's the important thing. Like, the biggest piece of feedback I got was off our mate Dave, who said, listen, just so you know, it's going to be shite. Which
he's no if blunt as Dave, is he?
The thing is, though, he's right, though, because it is going to be shite in it. It's not going to be polished. It's nowhere near good, the quality of some of the other ones you listen to. But you do try and do little things as you go. So from a technical standpoint, it's evolved a little bit. But I think the message has changed a little bit now, because it used to be like, okay, you'd get UK or Irish person over, and that was their job. But again, a lot of us have done similar things.
Yeah.
So there's other people out there, obviously, that have done different things, whether they come from South America, South Africa, or, Africa as a continent, other parts of Europe, even, come down from Canada. There's all over the show. There's people come from everywhere. So I think that's important. So the pond is not just the literal, the old term, the Atlantic being the pond. It's like, it's all different ponds people are crossing to come. But then you've also got to go into like the figurative, or what is it, metaphorical? Is that the word? Metaphorical ponds. For example, like if someone's an agoraphobic, crossing a pond for them might be walking outside to go and get the letters.
Yeah, totally.
Or something like that, go to the paper shop. So there's people now that you think and again, for the people who've listened to a couple of them, it's not just about breaking away and coming away from somewhere where they live. It's about crossing a boundary or putting themselves out there when normally they wouldn't have done it.
Making a change in their life.
Yeah, and I think that's important as well, because that everybody, and this is one of the big pieces of feedback I get, and because you have to listen to it, is everybody does it in some shape or form.
Yeah.
And if you listen to the way that people speak, no matter what they do, like yesterday spoke to a guy who's an artist and works on the street art, but some of the messages that he said directly relate to what I talk about, or what my experiences or somebody else's experiences. So yeah, it's definitely evolved, and I think it's a good thing, because A, it shows I'm taking on the feedback, and B, it just adds more flavour, more direction to what we're talking about. Yeah.
So you talked about some of the different guests that you've had, and then there's some connections or parallels between all of your guests. So if you had to pull a thread, as it were, or a general trend, what do you see or what do you notice when it comes to the messaging?
I think a lot of it comes back to community, like the people who you have around you, and the people who you choose to have around you as well. Like, listen, just because someone's family doesn't mean to say that they're going to be there all the time, and they're not necessarily the people that help you or support you or do. And that's not a knock on family, because I know family is important to everybody, and it is important to me. But you have to, when you come away and you come out your comfort zone, you rely heavily on community and the people you meet. Sometimes people are in the same boat as you, and you're able to bounce ideas off each other. I mean, look at the people that we hang around with, or we know. We're all in the same boat. And I think one of the reasons why we are so, call it successful, in the sense that we've managed to create little lives and careers for ourselves over here, is because we've had that community. And I think everyone I've spoken to has either succeeded because of that, or, it'll sound like Alan Partridge, bounced back because of that as well. Do you know what I mean?
I think we can start tracking how many partridges does Gaz come out with.
That's what I mean. And then there's the ding in the corner, like ding, ding, ding. But yeah, needless to say, I had the last laugh.
I should have said, have you had any aha moments?
But that's the thing, though. It is just about, people need people around them that understand them and are also empathetic to what they've been going through. So I think that's a big thing.
So our mate Dave would say, men, can't get them to go to therapy. Put a podcast mic in front of them, they won't stop talking. So thinking about personal development, how has it helped you over the last 16 months?
Jesus Christ. Yeah. I think the one thing it's helped me to do is listen to people a bit more. And it's amazing that I hate that word, amazing. It's very, very interesting to me if you actually listen to people instead of trying. I was a bad gag, me. Like, by gag, I mean like trying to get in on the conversation, try and give them my perspective, and not coming from a selfish point, not trying to get my point across and top someone, but just try and show that level of empathy. But it comes across sometimes as you're trying to top them. So what I'll do is I'll let people finish, give people 2 more seconds, even after they've finished talking. Sometimes give them 2 seconds, because sometimes that 2 seconds, that might be their cue to go, you know what, this person's actually listening to me. I'm going to tell him something else. And that person, in the context of the podcast, that something else might be absolute podcast gold, or like listening gold. And you think that's brilliant. Or in a normal day-to-day setting, just having that ability to listen to someone and take a step back might give that person an opportunity to open up to you about something that maybe they're dealing with, they're holding on to, they're struggling with, they don't feel like they can talk to anyone. But if you give people a time of day and listen to them, then there's no reason why they don't open up to you. And I have found that just by doing this. Because at the beginning, I've just done it then to you, butted in, so I'm absolute fucking hypocrite, aren't I? But like...
Or maybe...
I've started, so I've finished. Exactly. Dickhead. Anyway, but it's just... I've lost my train of thought. What was I talking about then? Before you Gagged in. See what happens, right? You just...
I didn't. I was just ready to ask you about... You talked a lot about listening.
Go on.
Okay. I wasn't going to talk about your wonky ear.
This is why specifically why I've sat here as well. So that this ear looks nice and tucked in and this ear is just sort of hanging out.
I wasn't going to bring it up, mate.
Well, there's no need. People can see this is the problem with cameras now. Everyone can see everything.
You can see it, particularly when the light hits it. Anyway, enough of this frivolity. So, sounds like listening has become a really good improved skill for you.
Yes.
How does it help you in the classroom as a teacher?
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's the same thing because there's a lot. The thing is as well, like, especially when, like, being a phys ed teacher and a health teacher, people don't expect you. Like, honest to God, someone asked me the question in class 2 days ago. They said to me, why is it that they get the PE teachers to teach sex ed in school? And I just looked at her and I went, well, because I'm qualified, aren't I? I know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about the dodgy nights out. I
was going to say, we could go way off on a tangent.
But I just said, but I have
to talk about the podcast.
Believe it or not, like, look, I've got a cardigan on. I look like a fucking teacher, so like a blardigan.
A bloody blardigan.
Blazer cardigan. Anyway, so, but the thing is, like, people don't expect it from a little squat, baldy fella who dresses like a small child in school every day. So, but just having that ability to listen to people and, listen to where they're coming from. Because again, in school, everyone's different. Not everyone plays football. Not everyone's a sporty person.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of stuff going on at home. Kids these days, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of distractions, but it's a nightmare. I would not want to be. I'm not envious of those kids at all because the amount of crap they've got to deal with, over expectant parents and all the other crap with social media. Like, listening to someone, sometimes they might give you a little clue that can help you relate to them a little bit more. Then all of a sudden, the more you can relate to a kid, the more receptive they are to the information that you're giving to them, whether that's something in the classroom or whether that's a little bit of advice on maybe how to handle a situation outside of school or in school with another teacher or whatever it is. Yeah. But I think that's the one thing that has actually helped me a lot.
Thank you for sharing.
Very welcome. Told you this is not a therapy podcast.
Listen, I'm not going down that route. No, I promised that. Let's talk about some of the challenges.
Yeah, Jesus
What
Christ.
have you found most challenging
about
our
dog about 5 minutes ago when you walked in and she tried to rip your teeth out?
I mean, listen, that'll happen. I do that will happen when I'm around.
Challenges has been funny. Like, there's certain things that if I was to do it again, I'm like, I wouldn't have thought. I obviously didn't think about it. Like, actually getting people to do episodes is so much harder than you think. The amount of people that have said no to me that I thought would have been absolute nailed on people to do it, and I thought they would have been brilliant. And then sometimes people will say yes, but then they back out. And again, listen, that's fair enough. Like, it is what it is. People say yes and then realize what it might be, and then I've had a couple of people that do that, and then again, that's up to them. But I didn't realize how hard it would be to get people to buy in, and especially the people who you think are mates. Like, we've got mates. I've got mates, close mates who we know who've gone, no, not doing it.
I get it though. Yeah.
I just, exactly. And I thought like I genuinely thought people would be like, yeah, I'll do it, help you out, and this, that, and the other. But it never happened. I've learned. This is another thing actually I've learned is to be as flexible as possible.
Right.
Like, look at last night. If I could show you a picture of where I was stood at 8:45 last night waiting to get into a building to go and interview a guy who was excellent. I was basically, it was like something off Gotham City. I was stood in an alleyway with a locked door at one end and a locked door at the other end, waiting for this door to open with like 2 dodgy vans parked up. And I'm stood there like that going, well,
you may or may not make it.
At least it'll be picturesque. I'll make a good episode of Dateline. But yeah, that's mental. So, but being flexible like that, like, listen, if someone calls you and they can do it, drop of a hat, you've got to go. From a tech standpoint, I mean, the amount of absolute...
how many times have we tried to record this episode, mate?
Well, that as well, like the amount of... I mean, listen, from a hardware standpoint, the amount of absolute pap I have bought off like Amazon.
I've got some in my house.
Yeah, you've got an old microphone, which is quite good actually, that microphone. But like, I've got the amount of stuff I've bought, like this... I can remember having programs on my computer, software programs that didn't work, and having to phone people while they were driving around to our house going, listen, sorry, mate, you can't come. Don't come. Turn around. And then, I've spent a fortune in return shipping, put it that way. Those frigging cameras last week, I could have volleyed them back to California. But like, and even today, look at this now. It's like the constant setup and breakdown and literally running around like a man with a bag full of podcast gear. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going through airports I'm literally came to yours the other week with a suitcase full of podcast gear. That's been tough. The amount of times I've done interviews where you think you're doing the right thing, you set everything up, you record the interview like this,
Yep.
and I'm absolutely bricking it that this works.
Well,
now,
I'm well aware because I've been on the wrong end of this a couple
you've
of
been
times
on it,
now.
but like, and literally, I've been and interviewed people who have got very, very good jobs and very high profile people who've worked in the business, got home, thought I'd done a good job, plugged it in, replayed it, and it hasn't worked. And I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. And then it's just, and then you take on juggling the dog, juggling people around you, and then all the social media stuff as well. Which for people who follow the 3 accounts that I've got, my personal one, my football one, and the podcast one, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, because
is that an emotional plea for someone?
Yeah, I'm really sorry, because I know.
Could you look into that camera?
I'm looking at the camera now. Yeah. I know that you get 3 posts of everything I do every week, and I'm sorry, but
that's why do you think I deleted Instagram?
Honest to God, just mute me, or just do me a favor, just like and follow, but just mute me. Don't.
I think the phrase is like and subscribe.
Instagram follow, but subscribe on YouTube, yeah, defo, yeah.
Oh, see, I'm not down with the lingo. But so, also, you're putting yourself out there. So, if anybody is interested in doing any kind of marketing for the podcast, please contact Crossing the Podcast.
You will not be paid.
Crossing Podcasting.
We are
no payment.
We are a not for profit, and by that I mean I don't make any money, so neither should you.
All right, let's talk about your guests.
Go on.
You've had a varied few. How many episodes have we had now?
We're at 50. Monday will be 56.
So 56. What surprised you most about your guests?
It goes back to that thing again. It's the more you listen to people. People don't want to talk. They say they'll do the podcast, and they come on and they sit there, and it's very, very transactional. That's a good word. That's a very Gibson word, that, isn't it? Very transactional. Like, they answer the questions. It's like on Father Ted. Yes, no. That will be an ecumenical matter. But it's a bit like that. But then I've realized the more you talk to them, the more they'll open up and they'll tell you stories. At the beginning, when I first started doing it, I would do the introduction for some reason. I don't know. I thought it would be easier with the audio to do an introduction of the person while the person was sat there. So then when you start reading all this stuff about, I can remember Paul Dawson in Mulligan's, I think it was episode, I don't even know, 13 or something. And I'm sat there. And obviously, he's a funny character when he's had a drink, especially. And you think he's going to be brilliant. But you could, as I'm reading the introduction, this is Paul Dawson. He's been in Mulligan's since 2001. Came to the US. He's worked his way up, and he's doing a great job of fostering a community within the expats who like the football. And as I'm saying it, I could see him just go, stiffen up, and
the colour drains from his face.
He's just gone, oh shit, I'm actually doing this. And then it took 20 minutes then, and by the end he was flying. But
brilliant episode that, by the way. Go back and listen.
Yeah. The short one though, he cheaped out on me a little bit. It's the shortest episode. That's
fine, that though. It's almost like you're going out for a swift 15-minute reset. Get that episode on.
Yeah, but once people warm up, they get going. It's funny though, isn't it? People, and I'm the same, I suppose, but people don't like talking about themselves. I find it's and obviously we talk about that sometimes, about confidence, and it's getting, especially in America, you're allowed to sell yourself, but a lot of the people we talk to, because they're from different places, maybe England or Ireland or Scotland, wherever they're from, and it's almost suppressed in them. They don't want to open up through fear of getting calm down a little bit. What you think you do? Who do you think you are? So people do take a while to warm up, and I think that surprised me the most.
So how do you get them to open up? Because you're really good at questions, mate. You're the type of person you send in.
Excellent wingman.
You go in, you build a bond, you build a rapport with people. You're really good at that. That's your superpower. So
what was that? Connector. And to be fair, it'd be a cape and a leotard with a big C in the front. And to be fair, the C could mean anything, but we all know what it does mean.
But that's a pretty good connector. So your superpower's a connector. So how do you get them to respond when you see someone does tighten up? Or
you've got to bring it. Listen, you know me. I prepare. I'm
sorry. I'm just thinking about you in a leotard, and it's brutal. I'm not having that. Don't do that again.
Super C. No, but you have to bring it back to conversation. Like you can have all the questions in the world, I think, and again, someone could correct me on this one, but you have all the questions in the world and you could be as prepared as you get. But if that person doesn't want to talk to you, you've got to bring it back to conversation. And then you'll find that if you listen to them when you're talking and you just bring it back and you start having a laugh, they'll throw something in that will relate back to the questions. And then you're like, right, got you. Let's go again. Let's get back on track. It happened the other day, like, you know, and it was a great episode again. Listen, episode 55 the other day with Paula, and I asked her a question about a family, and I felt bad because I kind of knew what the response would be, and obviously it would be the same response as I was had, and I didn't want to go and ask her the next question because it was something, and I just asked her a question about, like, it was about her parents passing whilst he was over here. But the next question was, and it wasn't even on the script. I was like, well, what was your mum like? And then she just started talking about her mum, and it was so good. The story was brilliant.
Yeah,
and then she lit back up again talking about her mum. So she's gone from down here to all of a sudden being back up here, and then you feel a bit more at ease to answer the questions that you're asking. So again, that was me. It's like manipulative, really, isn't it? But you've kind of...
no, I think it goes back to, like, it's one of your biggest learning lessons that you've got. Listening to hear and understand rather than listening to respond. So that, when you think about navigating your nervous guests or people who maybe...
You've also got to think that I'm nervous as well, though. Like you've got to give that 2 seconds. You've got to give yourself 2 seconds as well, because you can't be looking at me now as I'm talking going, right, what am I going to say next? You've got to think about what that person is saying and how can you get them, you know, they might drop one word in, or it might be something about, you know, fun, or it might be something about family, or it might be something about job. And then you go, okay, well, then you go on the next
thread.
You've got to keep the thread going, because then not only does that person feel like you're listening to them, which you are, but it also lends itself well to the conversation, because you're not going from there to there just because it says it on the question.
Well, it goes back to coaching. Coach what you see, know what's on the plan.
Well, that's the other thing as well, isn't it? But people can't do that, can they? Because some people are so...
They do, though, don't they, though?
I'm not saying it. You said it. People from Wigan don't say that.
You're from Wigan? I didn't realise you're from Wigan, mate. Yeah, we'd never know. Your fake accent. Let's keep rolling with your guests. How do you select them?
Just loads of stalking. Just sit outside their house going... But
you obviously...
Just like that. They'd be lovely then.
Profile. So you talked about what it was originally, UK and Ireland, people coming over with similar backgrounds from ourselves. Then it's evolved. There's a metaphorical pond that they're crossing. What's the profile of a guest? So someone here, maybe they're thinking, I've got a story to tell, or why should I listen to the pod? Like, what's the profile of the guest coming on?
It's just, it's people, isn't it? Like, so take, for example, and take, for example, Rajiv from a while ago. It was before Christmas now. Indian guy came over here, originally wasn't going to come to America.
Some story in, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Came to America because his dad was sick. And
he was on the bus, wasn't he? Or he saw his sister on the bus?
He saw his sister on the bus and found out that his parents were sick, or one of his parents was sick, so he came over here. But that is something that happens all the time. Maybe not on that scale, but little chancy things happen, don't they? Like, again, why did you meet, you know, where'd you meet your wife? How did you get the job that you've got now? You know, why am I in the job that I'm in now? Like, how is it that I ended up going in this place? Like, it's all about chance encounters and things like that. You look at, so that in itself is something that someone can relate to. You know, obviously there's people like me and you who've come over and we've had the same sort of struggles and the funny stories about, you know, getting involved in stupid things because you can't say certain things properly, or going out and being around in the city and messing about and
trying to ask for beetroot in a
what is it
in a grocery store. Beetroot.
Beetroot. Oh, forget it. Now I was thinking more about you doing karaoke and me telling everyone I was your agent. Like, that's a funny story, isn't it? But the thing is, like, there's stories like that, but there's also stories like Tanya from the other week again, who, you know, this mad, crazy, successful career in television production, and all of a sudden she finds out she's got MS, and you're like, all right, well, that's a story. And it's easy for me because I know her, and I know she's lovely, so I know she would love to tell that. A, tell the story, but B, also help out. And there's a lot of people like that who are willing to help out. Like, there's people coming up who I haven't spoke to for years, but they've reached out to me because they've listened to the podcast, and I'm like, hang on a minute, you'd be good as well, so why don't you come on and do it? Because a lot of our friends are in the same boat as us, and they're not just from the British Isles and Ireland, they're from all over the show. So it's easy, and I think that's the reason why I started it. It's easy because we do know a lot of people, and there is, you know, 2-3 degrees of separation between people, but it's an easy way to reach out, and there's a never-ending supply, basically, of people you can speak to.
Why should somebody listen to this podcast?
Because everyone's got a story, haven't they? I would argue that there's not one line in every episode that people can't relate to. Do you know what I mean? Everyone I've spoke to so far and coming up, everyone is going to be able to relate to one thing they say. It might be one thing, it might be 10 things. And I think that's important because there's people who will sit in a shell and go, well, oh God, no one knows what I'm thinking. No one knows what I'm going through. And then, all right, okay, well, why don't you listen to something? And it doesn't have to be me. It can be listening to anybody. And they will tell you something where you go, oh, you know what? Well, that's happened to that person or that's happened to that person. I still feel bad for whatever reason, but I also understand that there's people who have been in the same boat as me and they've got through it or they've got past it. So why can't I get past it?
Sense of empathy for themselves almost, or opportunity, or giving themselves a little bit of forgiveness and then understanding, hey, this is actually really inspiring. If somebody's done that, maybe I can go and do it.
Yeah, like, look, think about like people feel shame.
Yes.
People feel shame because they don't want to act. They feel like nobody else feels like they do, so they feel a sense of shame. But the thing is, though, it's so wrong. And you're not the first, you're not the first person to feel like this. You're not the first person to act like this. There's other people there, and they've done stuff, so they've got past it, and they've gone on to really, really good things. That's why I would encourage people to listen to me. And again, listen, obviously you want to listen to this podcast, but there's so many other things out there as well.
Of course.
Just listen to people in general, and don't be too quick to go, well, he's a because he does this or he looks like this. Like, that's ridiculous thinking. You've got to take everyone's story on their own merit. Yes, there are plenty of absolute whoppers out there, but for every whopper, there's 2 or 3 decent people as well. So it's important, and everyone's got a story, Bob. Everybody's got a story.
Indeed, they do. Let's go back to 2003.
Okay.
Were podcasts a thing in 2003? They weren't, were they? What would 2003 Gary think about you having a podcast? Well, if there weren't a thing, how would you have a thought?
He'd probably call him a LinkedIn wanker. But then LinkedIn...
I think, wasn't that Dave's feedback? Sounds a bit LinkedIn, this
Sounds a bit LinkedIn, that lad. But yeah, it'd probably be, look at this LinkedIn wanker now. Why are you doing that? But the thing is as well, you're young. Like, I was an absolute wally when I was 22. Didn't know what was going on. Had a crap haircut.
Ray Reardon.
It was like a cross between Ray Reardon and Kevin off the Wonder Years. It was brutal.
And Count Dracula.
Oh my God. Vinnie Samways. The list goes on. The list goes on and on. But yeah.
Remember those wire...
Listen, let's just stop that now, dickhead.
I'm going to have to ask you about it. What the fuck were those wire brushes that you used to scrape stuff with as kids?
Brillo pad.
Brillo pad?
That was a bit of a Brillo, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was if Dracula
had shagged the Brillo pad.
Turned into an haircut. Who would play your hair in a movie yourself?
Nobody. Brillo pad.
All right, anyway, enough of this frivolity. Any favourite stories from any of your guests?
She's going to hate me, but I really like Kells. Listen, talk about like influencing people and manipulating people. She got voluntold to do it, right? So, and we were sat here on a Friday, glass of wine.
She's one of the kindest souls on the planet.
She really is, and that story was funny. And when you look at Kel, you're like, there's, she can be quite insular sometimes. She's not, though. She does put herself out there. She does do stuff. And I think there's a lot of people like that. And I think that's why, I mean, look at me even talking quiet now, so she can't hear me.
She's got a glass against the window.
Yeah, she's got a knife in the back. But that was a good one because she told all the stories about what it was like coming over here on her own, like properly on her own for 3 or 4 months, and then meeting people and, going on dates and Nightmare and like meeting people that really helped her out. And that's when you realise that there are so many people like that over here, and they're just looking for a friend, or they're just looking for an outlet, or they're just looking for a way to settle down. And that was a cool story. I mean, listen, the Rajiv story about the India thing and everything just falling into place. And I made fun of it, and it wasn't fun, but it was like listening to someone tell a story on Slumdog Millionaire. Like, this happened because this happened, and all that little fate and chance encounters and seeing this. I wouldn't have been here if I hadn't done that. And it was like that movie. And then, you've got people like some of the funny stuff, like Gav Quirk going on a friendship date and then absolutely ballsing it up with Gerard Butler and texting him. And then Dave buying a limo when he was drunk. And, all these stories are brilliant. But then you've also got again, stupid stories. Like the one that makes me laugh all the time, and I listened to it the other day, was Sonny when he's in the airport with the backpack on and he's talking to some bird trying to act all hard and he puts his foot on the trolley goes and the backpack goes down and he's like this on the floor. It's just the thought of it, but him telling the story's hilarious. And then, but then you look at stuff like Joey Melvin telling us about his mental health and really opening up about Jesus sharing a cell with a guy who'd stabbed his mum with a fork because he wouldn't let his Xbox, and him just opening up about it. And then Liam Brown with the influences and where he went with that and coming back and being what he's like now, which is really impressive. And I've just been afforded some really good opportunities, like talking to Ross and Steve, like they do Prostate United, and that was cool. And like I said, there's people who've won Emmys, who've come on the show, have won Emmys, like, which is bananas, isn't it? You would never have thought that a year ago. 2003, Gary wouldn't even know when that was. Like, it's been fun. It's been good, and long may it continue, hopefully.
So you're also doing another pod now, mate?
Oh, Jesus, yeah. So we started doing the Monday Night Footy and Mulligans podcast, just every couple of weeks. It was the story behind that one, again. It was me and a friend of ours, Anthony Packwood, and we do it every other Monday in Mulligans. We talk about football, very quick, very sharp. It's a good laugh, and he's funny, but it's one of those where you never know, do you? You never know where it goes, and it doesn't take too much of our time. I feel like it's one camera, it's edited really fast. It's lasted 25 minutes. Literally record it. We start recording at 6:30. By 8:30. I'm at home in bed with a cup of tea, posting it on YouTube, just done.
How can you drink tea before you go to bed?
You've not lived with my missus, have you? So.
Yeah, but it's caffeine in it.
You say you don't want caffeine tea, but you've just drank a beer and you'll probably have a glass of wine with dinner.
Yeah, well, but I'm not. But I'm saying I'm not having a cup of tea when I get into bed.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, Robert. Each to their own.
Yeah, each to their own indeed. There's a story behind that. Couple more.
Go on.
I'll ask you this one. It's December 31st, 2025.
All right.
You sat in that chair.
Okay.
Adair mused. What things are you writing down on your list of the things that you've achieved or the things that you've been excited about in the last 12 months?
Listen, the ideal answer would be like, all right, it's been syndicated and someone's paid me a ton of money and they want me to work for them, and that's the vision board. But we don't do vision boards in this house. I know some people who are watching, Mr. Walker, all right? But
Matty would put it on his vision board.
Yeah,
I'll put it
all right, okay, fair enough. But I think the biggest thing for me, and this is the only thing that's my biggest motivation for this whole thing is that it's relevant. Like if when it stops becoming relevant, it stops becoming fun. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not reliant on feedback, but if I'm doing it and I'm talking to someone, I'm like, this is painful.
We're reflecting on the positive things that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but I want it to be relevant. Like I want to go exciting guests. I want people. I love getting the little texts every now and again from people I haven't spoken to for ages. Mm-hmm. That's class because it shows that people are listening to it. I mean, listen, the one thing about this setup is it's not a series. It's each to their own. So like you can listen to one, you can listen to 50, you can listen to one, you can dip in and out every now and again if you see a name that you might recognise. But it'd be nice to get a couple of, proper names, but like people who've got...
There's a way to say thanks to your guests so far.
Nothing like shitting on the 55. But
Jesus Christ.
But I'm saying, but even now though, like it started off with mate, you... Grubber, Trowler, brilliant, really good, great start. But then now it's like people who I don't know, and now that's my thing. I'd like to think that I'm going after people who I don't know, and I've got a couple of people lined up who I'm hoping that they'll do it. And again, nothing crazy, but someone who's just a little bit of a different angle, and chat with them.
So you talked about an overriding theme of community, but every time you've talked about your guests, so you've talked about wanting to reach more people. The things that made you listen to the podcast before you started this it was a community that everybody felt connected by that one podcast. So it's interesting that you get community from your guests that listen, and you're now trying to create a larger community of people who are coming together.
Yeah. Go on. What's your question?
I don't have a question. It's more a statement. I'm just reflecting in real time.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I also noticed just now.
That my flies undone or something?
No. We're like reverse clothes right now, aren't we?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's by design.
Is it by design?
Everything is by design.
The Matrix, this, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Did I come in here? I already did.
Look into my eyes.
All right, 55 in the bag.
Yep. Up to now, but by the time this goes out, hopefully, it'll be a lot more.
Good. Exciting. And where can people listen?
Spotify, Apple.
Yeah.
It's on the YouTube. I'm also on the TikTok.
Are you really?
I am, yeah. Only the shorts. And then on the Instagram and the Facebook.
The Reels.
I'm on the Reels, yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
God help you if you follow all 3 accounts.
Okay, so I guess you can like, subscribe, and Reels. Reels,
mate, honest to God, just do that. The thumbs up thing, just click that.
And if somebody genuinely does want to get involved, or they do want to share their story, they want to recommend someone.
That'd be class. You know what? That'd be a good one this year. I'd love people to start reaching out and going, I know someone who'd be perfect for this, and not just volunteering them. Like maybe saying, listen, I'll give you the number. This is the reason why they could do this. I really feel they'll never tell you, but if you reach out to them, maybe give them a little bit of context.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, that'd be class if you can get a couple of people out of nowhere to come on and do it, because then that means that people really see value in it.
Brilliant.
Getting it out there. Yeah.
All right. Quick fire. Let's have some more quick fire. This one just came to me and I don't know why. So I don't even know if it's a fully formed question, so who knows what's going to happen. It's winter. You're a bird.
This isn't like a girl or a flying bird?
Flying bird.
Okay.
You're going to fly somewhere for the winter. One, what type of bird are you? And 2, where are you flying? So just think about that.
A few bits.
We'll come back to you if you want to take a moment.
All right, start again.
I know I just threw that at you. Do you want me to ask the same question again?
No, come back to it.
No, I'll come back to it. All right. Best city for a night out?
Nashville's good. Nashville's like going back out in England in the end of the 90s. One street, every bar's rammed, music, people are everywhere. Everyone's just out for a laugh. But the proper answer is New York, innit? And we overlook it so much because we live here. But you know what? You can do anything, can't you? You want to go on a rooftop? Go on a rooftop. You want to go to a posh restaurant? Go to a posh restaurant. You want to go on a boat? Go on a boat. You want to sit outside, walk around, sit in the park? You can do it. Like, you want to go into a dive bar with no windows in it and just drink? You can do that. Brilliant. Yeah. But like, you can do that. It's
New York. It's supposed to be quick fire.
Sorry.
But all good, mate. Dalglish or Klopp?
Dalglish.
Last thing you changed your mind about?
That question. Because the more I think about it, I want to say Klopp, but at the same time, Kenny Dalglish is
Will it mean
everything.
So you winning the league with Klopp, or then it will win in the league with Slot?
Winning the league is winning the league.
So he doesn't have more of an emotional attachment with either one?
Everybody knows. Everybody knows he built the midfield last season. Everybody knows. He knew.
He knew?
No, that's Rodol.
Okay, yeah. He's a Man United fan.
Yeah.
Emu was a Leeds fan.
Yeah, we know. Served him right at the end of it, to be honest.
Yeah, there you go.
Trying to change the telly aerial. Unlucky.
One Olympic sport you think you could participate in?
I think we all know the answer to this. It's archery, innit? It's archery. You all know I'm a qualified archery instructor.
I don't think anybody knew that.
You all know I'm an NASP.
I found that out 2 weeks ago.
NASP, archery, qualified archery instructor, archery.
When was the last time you went out with a bow and arrow?
2018. Ask me the last time before that.
Go on.
2013.
So,
ask me how good I was in 2018. The answer is proper good.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you never lose. It's like riding a bike, innit? You never lose it.
So here's what I want to do. I want to go get a bow and arrow.
Listen, Walmart sells compound bows. Go and get one. I'm telling you. I'll pop your tyres from 100 metres.
What? I wanted to pop my tyres from any metres.
Listen, you asked me. Archery.
All right. 3 songs that are staples on your playlist.
Moving on up, Primal Scream.
Decent. Yeah.
I started listening to the Lathams. I'm a little bit behind the ball with them.
It's all right. You are where you are, mate. It's your journey.
I went to a concert in the summer in Wigan, and there's a song they've got. There's a couple of songs, but like "Sad Face Baby" is a good song, so I listen to that one. That's always on because it's a little bit upbeat, gets going, and then probably Robin S. in it. Robin S.
Oh, show me love.
Oh. That will get anybody out of bed.
That is a proper tune.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
That was good, that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all right.
Okay. Any more superpowers with downside?
Funny you mention this, because I've got some crackers.
Go on. Right.
You can read people's minds,
but
they know you're doing it.
You still take the risk, though.
You can fly, but the fastest you can go is 1 mile an hour.
Rubbish, that, wasn't it?
People just like that going, look at that knobhead there, like just taking pictures of him.
You'd still do it, though, wouldn't you?
Probably not, because maybe to hover, but not.
It'd be good to hover. Can you go proper high up?
Yeah, but you go very slow, 1 mile an hour.
Yeah.
See, downside. Last one. Ready for this one? Super strength, but proper clumsy. let's say there was, something was happening, there was a natural disaster, like something was happening, like there was an earthquake and the bridge had collapsed. Harry walks in, right, picks the bridge up, trips over a rock, drops the bridge on everybody, kills everyone anyway, so it's over. No? Can't believe you're not laughing at that.
Well, I'm actually just going through it in
Think
my
about
mind.
making, incredibly clumsy. They're just smashing everything. Like, I'm coming, like, you know what I mean? Someone over there, someone's stuck under a car. That rock is on the car. They need to get off.
So you're going to come and hold that?
No. But it's like, he goes, yeah, I'm coming now. And then you just trip over the car in front, smash the car, everyone's dead. Like, oh, think about it. What else could you be? What else could it be? Think about something you need. Tree. There's a tree fell on someone's house.
I'm with you. I understand what you're saying, but
you know what I mean?
Can they not just be like,
yeah, no problem, but you trip over the gas line because you're so clumsy and it blows the house up, claim. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, something like that. Just
like this to men, this, isn't it?
Yeah, brilliant.
All right. Now, I'm going back to the bird question. What bird are you and where are you going?
I'll be a peregrine falcon because they're well fast, aren't they?
1 mile an hour.
Not that fast. No, better, proper.
Go on. So you're a falcon and where are you going?
I'd go to St. Martin and sit at the end of the runway and just like watch the planes go over my head. Like that was ace that last Christmas. Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
I think we could end there.
I think we should.
Thank you, Gary, as always. Pleasure. Like and subscribe.
Like, subscribe. Nice one. Thanks,
Bye.
mate.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you or someone you know has a story to share, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us via our socials or visit www.crossingthepondpodcast.com to get in touch. Please be sure to subscribe, like, or leave a comment if you can. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Across Pond Podcasting.